Okay, good morning. This is Judge Alyssa Perez resuming the criminal docket for the 210th District Court for January 10, 2023. Again, all matters being heard today are being heard in accordance with all emergency orders and directives regarding COVID-19. In addition to that, we are streaming all matters live via YouTube for public viewing. Mr. Maruco, would you call our next case, please?
In cause number 2021 0D02736, State of Texas versus Jose Abraham Watts. Announcement of council, please.
Javier Salcedo and Eliana Elizalde, Assistant District Attorneys for the state, ready to proceed.
Araceli Solis on behalf of Mr. Watts, Your Honor, I'm ready.
And this hearing was originally scheduled as an in-person hearing. As I was explaining to Ms. Solis off the record, I kind of just made the executive decision here to turn it into a Zoom hearing because of the nature of, I think, what's at heart of some of the issues on the bond in primarily your client's health. I don't know that two things. It would be wise to be transporting him, mostly because if he had had a medical emergency here, I just feel like he would have been better attended at the jail than have to be scrambling here in the courthouse. So with that said, I also scheduled him for the 3 p.m. jail docket, but I didn't consult with anybody on scheduling. And so, Ms. Solis, are you prepared to readdress the bond now in the absence of your client?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so then we'll go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go ahead and cancel the 3 p.m. hearing. So going back to the bond, Ms. Solis, did you have any updates for the court for further consideration?
Yes, Your Honor. The day we had the last hearing last week, I did have my investigator go speak with my client in order to get the medical authorization signed. We were able to do that, but when that happened, he actually had a seizure in front of my investigator. So he also is covered in a rash, I think, due to the medication that he was prescribed, which is Egretol. I did finally receive the medical information from the jail. It's quite a bit. I was telling Mr. Salcedo that's why I haven't had an opportunity to forward anything, but according to the medical reports, and this was just on the 4th, I just got them, but it does indicate that he's had several seizures and that at the last seizure, he did have a bleeding from his ear. It also recommends that he follow up with a specialist, a neurologist. And I think they prescribed him some other types of medication, but they also indicated that part of the symptoms with the seizures are basically he's having fecal incontinence, he's having issues with tongue biting, unresponsiveness, urinary incontinence. There's a bunch of other issues that are actually seem to be worsening, Judge. So again, that's kind of the update I have.
Do we know when his last seizure was?
He just had one, Judge. I actually just prior to getting into the hearing, I got some information from his sister. He had one again on the 5th. He had one again on the 7th. He's been having them
Daily.
Yes, and they're getting worse, Judge. As I mentioned, my investigator actually witnessed him having one.
Did he get transported to UMC? Since I think I have what was the date of our hearing?
I'd have to check back on
Was it the 5th? No, it was probably the 3rd. Oh, let me go back into. Actually, I'm sorry?
January 3rd, Judge.
January 3rd?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we didn't have it as an, I don't know if we had it down as an official hearing.
It looks like they've been checking on him, but it looks like he also had one on the 8th and on the 9th. And sorry, she just forwarded me this prior to coming into the hearing, but he's been having worse.
You say the sister, that's what the sister has?
Yes, and Your Honor, if you recall, I believe you spoke with the sister. We had some questions for her at the last.
Right, and I think that hearing, our last official hearing was on the 3rd, but we had that kind of scramble hearing on the record on the 4th because.
Correct, Your Honor. Now, as far as the new cases go, I know one was already indicted. Obviously, the misdemeanors haven't been filed. I had, as I mentioned, scheduled a bond hearing with the jail magistrate because they weren't indicted yet, but now it is. Other than the misdemeanors. Obviously, I'm going to need time to review those cases, Judge, but again, I'd respectfully request some type of bond reduction so I could get him help with a specialist and start working on these new cases.
Have you contacted the jail in terms of their treatment now that we have the release? What I'll tell you is I did inquire with the jail on Wednesday, as I told you all I would. And the person that I was put in contact with was a Sergeant Ramirez. I'm going to go ahead and forward this email because basically in speaking with him, he had reviewed me forward. Let me see if I have your emails. He had reviewed with the medical staff. Ms. Solis, do you have your email? I don't see that I have it here, like when I type in.
I can send it to your
in the chat, please, and then I'll
yes,
send this.
give me 1 second, Judge. I'm trying to.
No worries. So I had inquired, and I can tell you the substance of the email is the sergeant, after a discussion, sent me an email saying per our previous conversation. Okay, thank you. I would like to confirm we are diligent and prompt in treating any medical necessities. I'm kind of paraphrasing. Let me go ahead and just send it. And I did inquire as to were there maybe specialized protocol, right, for someone who has ongoing health issues. I don't recall them saying that they had, other than, for example, medication that ensuring that medication is taken. Let me see if I don't recall if I heard you say, has he been transported since, let's say, the 5th of January? He hasn't?
No, Your Honor, he has not. Just but again, based off of the notes from, I guess, the doctor that's been seeing him, Mr. I think it's Rolando Lindo. He just indicated that he needs to follow up with a specialist.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's all the information I have, Judge.
Okay.
But again, Your Honor, due to the fact that new case is now indicted, and I know that was part of the court's concern, what was going to happen with those cases, I'd still ask if the court would consider a lower bond. That way I could have the opportunity to get him out and get him, I think, help he needs, and we can work further on resolving the probation case and the new case.
So if memory serves, and I don't know that sister would, definitively know this, but didn't she testify that he was due to see a specialist since I think either October, November, and had never gone, right?
That's correct, Your Honor. And then this incident happened. What happened was his condition started getting worse and he hadn't gone, and then this incident happened. So he's been in custody since, I believe, November. So it was only about a month after, but she also informed me, I don't know if you recall, Judge, but my client owns a business and
she was trying to run it.
She's getting a lot of issues due to the fact that there's some motorcycles that were supposed to be worked on, and she's starting to, I guess, get harassing calls on that. And then also she indicated that he would be residing with her at her address.
And Mr. Salcedo, any change?
No, Your Honor. Just listening to what the sister said in medical records, Mr. Watts was detained November 27th of 2022. And so he had all of October, essentially all of November to go see a specialist. And now when he's been detained, now we're having these issues. And so when this new case, this assault on the public servant and attempting to take a weapon, that happened because he was being transported to the hospital and he was at UMC getting medical care. And so I believe, given the totality of the circumstances that we have, he is getting the medical care that he wasn't getting while he was out. And as the court recalls, he does have a long list of cases that he picked up prior to being detained. And if this injury was something that occurred 10 years ago because of a traumatic brain injury, he's gone 10 years without getting medical care. He's gone 10 years of committing offense after offense, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, assault, family violence. And so this is someone that I'm concerned that if he is out, he is not going to comply with the court's orders. Now, if he does own a business, and I haven't heard this from Ms. Solis, but if he does own a business, he can put up that business as collateral for the bond. And so we haven't heard that he's attempted to do that. We just heard that we need to lower the bond because he has his medical care. He is getting the medical care that he is requiring while detained. And so we would oppose any reduction at this time. And so the court knows the new case, the assault on a public servant, that was filed. And it has a cause number, but Mr. Kennedy has been appointed on that case. And so I don't know.
Retained, but Ms. Solis,
Yes, Your Honor, I filed motion to substitute, and I actually just checked on that. I need to see what's happening, but I will get that resolved, Your Honor.
Okay, yeah, send them over to us so we can sign off, obviously, if you're going to represent them on everything. Was it just one? I thought it was two felonies coming down.
Two counts, Your Honor.
Oh, got it. It's all in one case. Got it.
Yes, Your Honor. And then if I could just address the court when Mr. Salcedo is.
Are you done, Javier? Yeah. He muted. I'll say he's done.
Okay.
Your Honor.
And I understand I understand the collateral portion of that, Judge, but the bond is set at $150,000, and that doesn't include the other cases, Judge. As far as the new case is concerned, I still need to review and see if there was video and what other statements or what other information there is, Judge. I don't know if the court recalls, but when he was getting arrested, he was in the middle of having a seizure. I can't say that this was done voluntarily, Judge, because I haven't had the opportunity to review further evidence. There may be videos showing what happened, because when he got arrested, they were actually transporting him to the hospital, Judge. So that's information that I need to review as well.
What I saw, and I'm not saying the new cases are new cases, but he was at UMC already, and whatever behavior allegedly he's engaging in, I'm not sure how it gets to the officer. I don't remember that. I just kind of remembered that the lead up was allegedly the incident happens because he was, in fact, if I remember, he was going to seek treatment that day, and then it ends up supposedly he was out drinking somewhere, and I guess when the CW calls him out on it or says something when he gets home, that's when the alleged assault occurs there with the new victim. And so from there, I'm not sure how it goes, but I don't recall the interaction with the officer, and I could be wrong. I don't recall there being something said there that he was in the middle of a seizure, but based on what we've seen this far, wouldn't surprise me. But that's all kind of, for you all to figure out. Do we know what the new bond is on this case, on our November case?
Give me a second, Judge. I have the bond amounts here. Sorry, Judge, I got called last minute, so.
No worries, take your time. Alyssa, you were gonna say something?
Yes, the new case, the 2023 case, it is actually just one count. It's assault public servant. The taking a weapon from an officer was declined. The bond on the assault public servant is $2,500 cash or surety set by JMAG.
And was there a new family violence?
There is one, Judge, and that one is set at $10,000, and then there's an interference for assistance at $2,500.
Okay,
that's correct.
So the $10,000 one, isn't it ours?
The $10,000, the assault family violence is going to be a misdemeanor, Your Honor, and that one's on file still.
Yeah, that's not going to be a misdemeanor.
Well, I'm guessing it's gonna, yeah.
That's why I was like, where's my other felony?
That's still, I just checked on it this morning. It's still pending. So I guess it's the assault on a public servant, $2,500, the interference, $2,500, the attempt to take a weapon was declined, and then the assault
is at $10,000, and that'll be ours. So we need to look at that, Mr. Salcedo, because that's kind of what I was thinking we were gonna have was gonna be the assault. I didn't know, the non-public servant assault, and then, of course, the other two, I didn't know what was gonna happen. All
Yes,
right,
ma'am. I'll look at those and see if we can get those pushed up and get them screened so we can file them if we're gonna file them.
And just for the court's knowledge, just so they know, his family is willing to co-sign. Obviously, that's not an issue. He would be able to do that, Judge. It's just financial wise, they don't have the means to make the $150,000 bail on top of these other bonds, Judge.
yeah.
And, yeah.
I'm still not there, Ms. Solis, so thank you for the update. I am completely open, and I hope so you can communicate that to your client as well. You need a hearing, you asked for it, you got it, okay?
Yes, sir.
I did send the email from the jail. It looks like, yeah, we barely got the indictment of solemn public servant. Send us your motion of substitute so we can have you on that one. And Mr. Salcedo, we're still waiting for cases. So, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you
Oh,
for
and
your time.
Mr. Salcedo, will I be reaching out to you as far as recommendations, or I just want to check?
You can, or you can reach out to Eliana Elizalde.
Okay.
She's the
Ms.
attorney. that's going to
Elizalde,
be-
if you'll put your email in the chat, por favor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Solis.
Thank you.
Okay, so I see Mr. Montes. Let's go to that one.
Good morning, Your Honor. Your Honor, I was in the 243rd. I thought the case was going to be called right away, and it was not.
They must be busy over there. Okay.
Sorry, Judge.
Calling cause number 2021-0D00202, State of Texas versus Jagger Glen Walking Eagle. May I have announcements, please?
Javier Salcedo and Eliana Elizalde, Assistant District Attorneys for the state, ready to proceed.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jose Montes for Mr. Walking Eagle. We're ready.
And we were at final hearing plea deadline. Is it 8 or 12 TDC, Mr. Salcedo? I don't remember.
I believe it was 12, Your Honor, and I can verify that again.
Okay.
So I can make sure that.
Mr. Montes, did you pick up the CPS records as well? I understand.
I did, Your Honor. They're voluminous, and we're going through them, and I'll report back to Mr. Salcedo.
Got it.
Ms. Elizalde.
So we had the co-defendants hearing earlier, so I think I got the specifics on all of those. We're going to go to the next setting that will be specially set, as this one was. Yours is specially set.
Correct.
So we're good to go. Mr. Montes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
You may.
Thank you.
Okay, so who else is ready?
Mr. Stevens, Judge, let me bring in Mr. Bautista.
Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Stevens. So, Mr. Stevens, while we were kind of waiting for everybody's hearings to come up on Mr. Bautista's case, Ms. Ibaben was kind enough to let us know that although we thought you were on this case, you guys were not. So I believe we've appointed your office this morning, but everybody seemed to remember that you had been involved with Mr. Bautista's case before. Does that resonate with you?
I'm sure it will as soon as I read my notes. So
So we can give you a second here.
can you give me a case number?
2020-0D00002.
Oh,
And it'll give me a second to go back to the summaries. Okay, just to kind of expedite things, I'm gonna email you the case summary that I received from probation as well. So I just did that. All righty. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started.
In cause number 2020-0D00002, State of Texas versus Gilbert Bautista. Announcement of council, please.
Javier Salcedo and Eliana Elizalde, Assistant District Attorneys for the state, ready to proceed.
Brett Stevens for Mr. Bautista, we are ready, Your Honor.
And so we were scheduled this morning for a probation status hearing. As we were discussing off the record, Mr. Stevens, we were under, I guess, the misunderstanding that the PD's office was still appointed on this case. And so I know we kind of brought you in last minute because we were informed that you were not. And so having forwarded the case summary, maybe Ms. Lujan, you can give me a little bit of information, because although I'm certain that his name is not Shorty, he is here today when, I mean, Mr. Bautista, when part of the issue was that we had not had good contact with him. So Ms. Lujan, can you, well, hold on a second. Mr. Bautista, you show up in shorts, you're drinking a drink. That is not appropriate behavior for court. Do you understand you're in court right now? You're before a
Yes, ma'am.
judge.
I'm just having a, sorry about that.
So, Ms. Lujan, can I
Good
have an
morning, Your
update?
Honor. Yes, so Mr. Bautista was originally transferred to the substance abuse caseload due to his continuous noncompliance with regular supervision. When he came into our caseload, I did see him first on October 27th of 22. I gave him the orientation. We gave him a referral for TAP. He did go through with the referral for TAP. He was admitted to TAP, and he was advised that he was to attend drug and alcohol counseling with Counselor Fontes, where she would see him for individual sessions and group sessions. For November, he did report, and then for December, he started missing groups and individual sessions with Ms. Fontes. He tested positive for meth on December 15th, 2022. So I told him that he would need to start coming in and reporting weekly so that we can get him on track to attend his sessions with Ms. Fontes, and so I could, monitor him on a weekly basis. And he didn't report for December the 22nd of 2022. He didn't report for December the 29th of 2022. I continued trying to make contact with Mr. Bautista unsuccessfully. And he did message me, he did call me this morning, just this morning. And he did advise me that he had a relapse this weekend. He used cocaine and ecstasy, and he's having some issues with his mom. And just based on the information he gave me this morning, our initial recommendation on the report that you are reading states that, of course, we want to continue to work with him, continuing on outpatient treatment. However, based on the information he gave me this morning, it looks like we are going to be recommending a residential treatment, which Mr. Bautista did ask for this morning. He did say that he wants help for his drug use, and he is open to receive the residential treatment program that we have for him.
So he's going to BHRTC, Mr.
Correct.
Stevens. So that's okay. So that's where maybe if he has questions, what's going to happen is I'm going to issue a bench warrant based on this behavior. So Mr. Bautista, so you understand, the goal here is to get you to residential treatment, BHRTC. That is the court's order. To accomplish that, I am going to issue a bench warrant because you need to be in custody in order to be placed on a waiting list to be placed at BHRTC. So if you have any questions, you can speak with Mr. Stevens. I don't know if you have his contact information. You call the public defender's office to speak with him. But Ms. Lujan, I want the bench warrant ASAP. We need to get him into custody. so that we can get him on the list. The longer we wait, the longer it is before you can get into treatment.
Yes, Your Honor, I'll call it in.
Mr.
Bautista, can you please contact me after our hearing? I would say maybe in about, well, sometime today, can you contact me?
That's for you, Mr. Bautista. Call the public defender's office. Your attorney is Brent Stevens. All right, let's get that process going. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. But did Mr. Stevens have one more?
Yes, Judge, middle of page 18,
Okay, go ahead.
in cause number 2019-0D06356, State of Texas versus Daniel Villanueva. Announcement of council, please.
Javier Salcedo and Eliana Elizalde for the state, ready to proceed.
Brent Stevens for Mr. Villanueva, and we are ready, Your Honor.
Okay, is Mr. Oh, he's in jail.
He's in jail, Judge.
It looks like the rec is 6 months. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Mr. Stevens, have you talked to your client about that?
Yes, Your Honor, we are in agreement.
Did we get wait a minute, did we get the plea paperwork on this one?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's the one they said, oh yeah, this one's taken care of. So I signed him. It's just a matter of getting it scheduled. So we're probably looking at next week, Mr. Stevens.
Okay, yeah, that'll be fine, Judge. Then
Okay,
appear next week for the plea.
ándale pues. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is that the last one?
We still have Mr. Gutierrez, Robert Andrew,
And where's the attorney?
represented by Mr. Underwood.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Daniel Avelar, it's in person here right now, Judge.
It's in person?
No, he's in another court in person.
Oh, okay. And is Mr. Gutierrez here?
No, Judge.
Okay, well, let's call and find out where his